Instagram reels, and obviously I'm not familiar with the practices. I'm outside looking in, but I saw something where like there was, I mean, I don't know if it was anger or grief or a combination of the both. I mean, I guess they could be similar, or because you mentioned earlier breaking down, and it reminded me of this video that I saw on your feed. Um, what do you classify that as? If you know what I'm talking about. With
Yeah, I do. It's
yeah,
the
like
video.
what is that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so referencing the video, it's from one of our retreats where one of the women in a somatic breathwork practice ended up having a big wave come up that was ready to release, to be out of her body. Uh, and so is this the one? And I'm sort of like supporting her in that final
Yeah,
release. Is that the
yeah,
video
yeah,
you're
yeah.
referencing?
It's because
Yeah.
I don't want to miscategorize it because I'm not familiar with it. So that's why I'm genuinely curious. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's like you're behind someone and they look like
Yeah.
they're like screaming or like letting out
Mhm.
anger or something like that. And yeah, just delve into that if you wouldn't mind. That's very interesting,
Yeah.
very powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a powerful image for sure and moment and takes a lot of courage to be able to let ourselves go there. So just really honoring
Yes.
her. And what I would say is I don't actually know exactly what emotion she was experiencing. It may have been a dance of things. It looked to me like there was rage and anger and sorrow and all of it. And I think that that's actually true to our humans as our emotions as humans, which is they're likely more woven than the mind understands them to be, meaning like we think we have anger over here and then sadness over here and then
Yes.
her over here. I think they're interrelated because I think different emotions are experienced in any moment that was challenging, right? So I can't say for her what it was, but what I can say is like
I
it
wouldn't
was
ask you to either, because
yeah.
that's private. That's private. I wouldn't ask you that. I'm more so saying like, what is that? Like what, the practice itself, because that's a private
Oh,
thing.
practice
I'm not.
itself, yeah.
I'm not
So
like, oh, tell me what exactly. No, that's private, man. That's her growth, and congrats, because it looked like it was definitely cathartic, but more
yeah,
so the practice itself, like from you know.
gotcha.
Mhm.
So the practice itself is something that we do on our retreats called, and something that my best friend and I who run retreats together also offer one to one, which is somatic breath work. And so it's a breathwork practice that really starts to move the mind
Mm.
down into the body to create integration. So it's like getting out of the head into the body, into the wisdom and the intelligence of the soma, the body, through a breath work that on the first half of the
That means
breath.
body.
Uh,
Soma?
mhm,
Body. Okay.
yeah. Yeah. And so through the first half of the breath work, it's really designed to kind of press on the engine a bit, like put some pressure on the system
Mm.
to bring up what is a little, how should I say, it could be a little or a lot, but suppressed, repressed, and really to allow emotions to move freely through the body because it's understood that emotions are really energy in motion and often through our upbringings and through culture, those moments of energy that want to move that look like an emotion are an emotion can get suppressed and repressed if we're conditioned to believe like it's not okay to cry, it's not okay to be angry, you can't, don't be too much, don't be too loud.
Mm.
So I'm going a roundabout way of bringing it back to saying that that first part of practice really allows stuff to come up, to be cleared out. And then the second half of the practice allows people to repattern in a sense of clarity, of safety, of ease. Because the truth is the nervous system is running on a system of something feels not right or safe based on an experience I had in the past. The truth is that the body doesn't know that the path hasn't yet resolved itself if the emotional loop doesn't happen. So, what I would say happened for this woman is that there was some event in the past where that full loop, full expression of an emotion around an event actually got to complete, which now leaves her body and her being in a much more resolved state, which allows her to get more present to the moment and create from the moment
Mm.
because our nervous system really does
Yeah.
get sort of like bound to previous events if they're not addressed. I don't know if that makes sense. I feel like I kind of went all over the map, but I hope that it paints a picture.
Yeah, yeah, it makes sense to me, and I would imagine listeners can probably correlate that because it's something that if it stays there, like if it stays down there buried, obviously getting it out is going to be quite the task. The longer it's down there, and the bigger the
Yeah.
event, it's gonna like an equal and opposite reaction. To delve into that and get it out of there.
Yeah, and what I would say is just to add to that real quick is like it often doesn't take as long or as much energy as we think to get to move that energy, let's say out of the body or through the body, because the
Mhm.
the body wants to bring us back to homeostasis. It really does. And um I think often the mind gets more nervous about what the experience will be than the body is nervous about it. Like the body is ready, the body is strong, the body is able. Just the mind likes to be put together and know everything's going to happen. It doesn't like uncertainty,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
really an emotional clearing doesn't often take that long. And the body, the unconscious mind connected deeply to the fabric of the body, will only give us what we're ready to clear. It will never
Mhm,
overwhelm us unless we push something out. So I think that that's actually
mhm.
something that's helpful to say is like if we go digging for it and are like, come on, I need to get out all my emotion, I need to get it out,
Yeah.
we may be going against the intelligent process of the body doing its healing, as opposed to let me show up and let me do this practice and let me sit with
Mhm.
what's here. And then whatever my body is ready to handle and clear, it will clear just based on the fact that it knows how to take care of me and bring me back to my best state of equilibrium today. Tomorrow might be
Mhm.
different. Next month might be different.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely I don't know if you ever seen a film called Midsommar.
Oh, yeah. It's intense.
You seen the film, you know it. Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. So it's something that maybe I'm just a film nerd or something like that, but I really like what the director did in it, and it was something that was interesting because that reminded me of that. I don't know if you remember how well you remember the film, but the main character, the female who had the douche
Mhm,
boyfriend. I remember watching that movie
mhm.
with my partner and just being like, "This guy is such a freak. Can he die already?" And obviously, spoiler alert, it all happens at the end. And so the main character when she has that breakdown, do you remember? And she's surrounded by the girls from the community, and they're all like
Yeah,
breaking down with her and like
yeah.
yelping and crying and breaking down. That kind of reminded me of that, and it was very interesting because what the director did there, and I believe he confirmed it later in interviews, was that in the moment that the normie, because the normie goes into it and being like, "This is a cult film," right? And it is, right? It's out there, and the moment where they're being like dramatic and screaming and yelling and letting all of that out, that's when the normie would usually the person who doesn't believe in these things and just it's all mumbo jumbo to them. That's when they would be like, okay, this is a cult confirmed, but actually that humanized them. And it was very well
Mm,
done by the director because the most intense part of the film that if you see that without the whole surrounding and the whole building up to the story, you'd be like, okay, this is like some cult junk, something's happening here. But because you see the film, that actually humanizes them, letting out all of this
mhm.
anger and this rage that they have suppressed. And that's when the main character, she realizes she's home now. She's the what it was it the May Queen, like the Summer Queen, something like that.
Uh-huh,
Like the
uh-huh.
Midsummer Queen, and it was
Yeah.
something that it connected to me when I saw the video. I was like, oh, this is kind of like so. I don't know if you see that there, or am I just kind of reaching for straws?
I mean, that's super cool. I would never have gotten to that connection myself, and I totally see it. And I think that what you just said is the beautiful thing. Our that emotional expression does humanize us,
Yeah.
and it does bring us closer together. And it's so beautiful to be able to be in spaces and create spaces where that gets to come online and where people get to be like, oh, I'm not alone. And it's not just me. And it's safe to feel and it's safe to express. And I'm loved in my
Yeah.
expression.